Aduo. Liwe bo pongupa. Ah, magaya gaya 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 gaya. Denye. Asakamu, yabo gabo koyasie. Nakare talk with the saswa. Saswa ko nakare talk with the saswa. Nada bongo, nada bongo. Yeah, nada bongo, babuta nada bongo. Nada bongo, kakuma kwa yobo suke. Kama nawe kaga se. Nana ndiye tuwe tobi babutu domatro. Saswa ko nakare talk with the saswa. Nada bongo. Yeah, nada bongo, babuta nada bongo. Nada bongo, kakuma kwa yobo suke. Kama nawe kaga se. Nana ndiye tuwe tobi babutu domatro. Likiboliwe matota uyaba. Malo likita mero swai suzo. Me antaro pongu. Nakana do diego. Na mukwewo. Umana tokwe dore. Kunga kasi wako. No yage rasa yimwana gaba. Mabukwe bombonu mabuza bonu. Aprr. Malwa. Kakaki bomu. Faya. Ah, blah, 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 blah. Likita mero swai suzo.
Hey, so Lorena, how are you? Welcome. We have some technical issues, so we have to join at this time. How are you? Let's hear from you, Mama. You hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, go ahead.
What are we starting with? Is it just
It's just
current
what on your
issue?
mind, yeah. Anything else
Oh,
that you need?
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So today, as you know, the CDC program for the party headquarters, the proposed party headquarters, and we know they have been announcing this for about a month now. And I want to give it out to the police for peacefully conducting the traffic or directing and redirecting the traffic. Because while it is true that they were breaking ground, there were a lot of remarks that were being made on Facebook. They will make sure they block the street. They will make sure nobody will pass. So I think some of their intent was to provoke peaceful citizens, ordinary citizens. But the police did a great job. Make people, my children are coming from on campus, and then they have to redirect them. In fact, they usually come home, they leave campus, the last class is 2 o'clock, and they are home by 2:33 latest, but they go home 6:15 today because of that. But the most important thing is that it was peaceful. I know the police did a great job. And we all know that former President Weah is one of the most popular politicians that no one can take from him. And I think Honorable Bidete needs to do a contest with President Weah, former President Weah instead of Vice President Kun. And so even if former President Weah just decided to come to the SP gas station down here and just announced on his Facebook page, I'm going to SP gas station. More than 100% will appear just to see him. And it is not because he's a former president, it's because of who he is from the time he was a footballer. So most of the people that come behind there, they're not coming because he is former president or because he's coming back to power. It's because they're coming to see the George Weah that took Labroni to the world of football. And then another thing is that there's a that has sedition. Um, on Facebook, is permanent citizen. She made a very um high, strong post that other people, other citizens were coming at her, calling her prophet and this and this and that. But if you look at if you analyze the post and the picture and everything of today, you tend to know that citizens are actually pushing former President Weah, into the whole 2029 stuff, because of their own selfish gain. So, like I said, most importantly, the day was peaceful. No news of people stoning rock, people doing this, people doing that. So that's what most concerning. And we call it a day, and the day is almost over. I mean, we just got 2 hours, some minutes to 12. So yeah.
And then development tool for Nima.
I didn't follow anything new for Nima today, but I know yesterday District 4 was flocked. Um, District 4 was flocked by District 7. And I want to say to Honorable Marcy and his boss that you cannot come from in the bush part of Nima, and want to play the only district in the county that has a twin city. That's very disrespectful on the part of District 4 people. Why are we taking on in the first place? So you go next time and prepare better. And when you want to come and play District 4, you better go practice on ATS so that you can be able to play us next time. What was that for? What all the frisking were about all over the place? You were just grabbing people, beating them, And so we just said, okay, we're coming, you know? So yeah, so on a romance here, you have to prepare next time. Next time, you will have to meet all the district, and which include District 7. You have to go to ATS and practice. Yeah, so and the vice president is quietly on his farm this weekend, enjoying the beauty of nature in Nimba, his home county, the palm trees, and everything that he had worked for before he became a vice president. He's enjoying Nima this weekend. I wish I were in Nima to eat some deeper. Yes, so far so
Did
good.
he escape from Georgia and people? He never named
No, he
why
only once a month he goes Nima on the farm.
Why he choose to go this time?
One, he doesn't have a major activity doing over the weekend, or responsibility given to him by the president. Once a month, at least he goes on the farm and just, you got a whole bunch of people on the farm. So he's not escaping. So if even he wanted to have passed today, he would. But I mean, again, it's just good that he on his farm, and he will be back maybe hopefully tomorrow or so. Yeah.
Thank you, Sis Lorena. Today we'll be hearing from, I think, two staff of the CDC, who appeared yesterday, and one Daniel Brooklyn. I think Daniel Brooklyn used to work with the Governance Commission. Daniel will be joining us. I'm also trying to reach out to the team in Minnesota. Honorable Musa Belete will be having a town hall meeting today in Brooklyn Park in Minnesota. I'm trying to see whether we can get somebody from there to talk to us. While we do that, my next question to you is there any update on the PYJ University since the latest intervention by the Vice President?
No, I haven't heard anything for or against the setting of the school since the last time the Vice President spoke on Compass Communication. I have not heard anything about the school. No.
That's great. So what about the board chair? Is the board chair still involved with the sale, or he's letting everything
So I
drop
talked
away?
to the board chair to appear on the platform, and he agreed. And he agreed to have appear on Thursday. Was it Thursday that I didn't join the show? I was off for a few minutes and left and said I was sick. Okay, I was sick. So but then I forgot to check on him. because that Thursday early morning I left and went Bomi to launch my project. And so then on Friday he asked me, say, but Quide, I didn't hear from you. You didn't send me any quote. So I'm like, oh damn, I'm so sorry I went out of town. So I will follow up with him on Monday to see for him to give us his date. Then I'll be able to tell the CEO or you. Yeah, but he agreed to be on the to be our guest on the show. And actually should
Thank
have
you,
been
thank you.
talking.
Once you're ready for guests coming, just post it in the chat room. The only thing we want from you is that agree on a date and send out a photo to prepare a flyer for the person so that that will not have one problem. Uh, yes, update on your program in Bomi.
Yeah, so it was a nice program in Bomi. On on the 17th or on the 18th of September, we actually launched in Nimba because the project is in three counties. It's Nimba, Bomi, and Bapolu. So we launched in Nimba on the 18th of September. The superintendent was our chief launcher, and we have students from different schools, male and female. And then after the launch, we started the distribution. And then the next day, we move into the schools and started the distribution of the sanitary pads. We are giving 2 months each so that by the time the second month is going to an end, we are back in the field to give another 2 months. And so then we came back home, we are begging for money all around from our friends, our supporters, and family. And then got some little money again, bought enough sanitary pads, and then went to Bomi on the 16th and we launched. And then on the 16th, as well after the launch on Bomi, we were able to distribute to six. In Tottenham, we chose 5 schools, so we're able to do distribution in 5 schools. So by hopefully Tuesday or Thursday or next week, we'll be back in Bomi County where we'll do the distribution to Southtown Public School, Gogan Public School, and Doyen Public School. So that's how we are with the program. And I want to say thanks to all of our supporters, our sponsors who are sending all that 10, 20, 40, 50, 100. Want to say shout out to you. Thank you. You are the real MVP. We owe you a lot. So just thank you and thank you and thank you. And it's like every week, at least one person will have to donate. So while I was on my way to Bomi, right around Port River, and then somebody called me from the States, one of my old mans, and Mrs. Rebecca Sadifu, and she like, check your WhatsApp, it say your Lone Star number, it say your mobile money number, and I said yes. And she said, oh, okay, check it. I made my contribution. And I checked, she have made her contribution. So, so I just want, so like every week, at least one person sent you a little money that we are able to use to buy a few cartons of sanitary pad. So all our sponsors, our supporters, you are doing a great, great job. Want to say thank you for those of you who have made a commitment. But I say trying to find when you can make a promise. We are in prayers with you so that you can make a contribution. And we hope that TK will make a contribution to the project. Mapia, how you doing? Welcome. Yeah, so that's it for the project. The project is not just about giving sanitary pad to a girl. It's about making sure a girl menstruates, but she menstruates in dignity. It's about making sure a girl does not escape school because she does not have a sanitary pad. It's about a girl being confident in herself. Though she menstruating, but she's confident that there will be no steam on her clothes. And then she's able to compete with her male counterparts in everything, questing, games, and everything. So it's not just about handing a girl apart, it's about restoring dignity onto a girl, it's about building her self-esteem. Because in that project, we got a lot of training and teaching session. So it's a whole package. And then we start with the part first. And then we also, if the school already has adolescent school health club, will work with the existing school if there is no other NGO running that club. So if they don't have a school health club at all, we establish a school health club or re-establish a school health club. And though we use the school health club, train them as peer educators, and then They will be now our eye in the school, our eye in the community. And then the next and final phase is we're going to also be teaching them how to make the reusable part. The reusable part is eco-friendly. You know, everything is about climate change. It's eco-friendly because the sanitary part, just in case they bury it, it takes decades, you know, to get decompose. But with the sanitary part, I mean the reusable, you can wash it. So that's why we teach the children not to bury the sanitary part, but to burn the used sanitary part. You can put it in your cup. Maybe they could be condensed milk cup, blow hole on it with milk. Every time you use your pot, you put on the jet, put fire on it, you know, and have it burn up so that, you know, it just burns, just arches. Because if they bury it, I mean, it causes a lot of damage to our environment. So it's a whole package of project that just starts with sanitary part, going to formation of adolescent school health club, then then training of peer educators, then weekly training, radio messages, and we hope that we'll be able to use BKS as one of our platforms and we operating schools in Nima and that we can use for our platform is stage by stage by stage. So by December, we'll be in the next phase, and each phase will still continue with the sanitary part distribution. Each phase will continue with it. Yeah, so thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity for you to give me time to talk a little about our project.
Here from Jesse. Where is Jesse? He left.
You are muted, Chief.
I said the host is here. Let's hear from you, boss man.
Thank you, TK. I managed maneuver my way to be on the show, but again, folks, we'd like to say welcome, good evening to all of our listeners. Those of you listening to us via radio on Voice of BKS and also Voice of Tapeta in Tapeta City, we'd like to say welcome. What I have in my mind tonight basically has to do with the groundbreaking ceremony that was done today by CDC. I mean, whether you like it or not, CDC are the most loyal partisan in Liberia. I don't know how you want to put that, but I believe that with the crowd we saw today, one may say CDC have always put up those crowds in 2023, 2017, and all of that. But in 2023, the story was different and they were whipped. But if someone is in opposition and you're seeing them putting up those kind of crowds, that should send a signal to the ruling party. And I believe that the number of citizens that turn up today, that shows that Liberians still want George Weah to go back as president of Liberia. Well, I may have my personal issue with all of the ruling party that took over the post-war era. I may have my personal issue with them that they have not done well for Liberia enough. I know they have tried their best, but they are not done well enough. But seeing the number of people today, and remember, that's just Montserrat. That's just Montserrat. I don't know whether people came from across the country, but to the best of my knowledge, that's just Montserrat. So what becomes of having a nationwide tour or a nationwide groundbreaking ceremony from counties to counties? How many persons will put up? This one CDC is not in power again to say people went there for bag or rice, people went there for this, but people turn out today because I don't know what they want. I don't know whether they want George Weah to come back. I don't know whether this government is not doing well for the Liberian people. That's why citizens are turning out for George Weah to be re-elected as president of Liberia. I don't know. But one of the things that caught my attention to also today was the picture of the former president. He looks bad up. He looked really, really, really bad up. Even former president, current president Joseph Yuma Bwaka was not like that when he left office. Even though there was rumors in the corner that the puppy was sick, but most of the picture we were seeing was not like that. Now seeing George Weah, who was very, okay in his body, looking like that today, I'm shocked. And I want to believe that something is wrong somewhere. If something is not wrong somewhere, then somebody need to ask question what is happening to the former president. And so far, so good. That's what I have in my mind this evening. And we are really sorry for coming on late. But again, we are here.
Yeah, so and in respect to the picture you're talking about, there's a Daha edition. I think she lives in Minnesota. Her Facebook name is Permanent Citizen. I mean, this is a girl that when you say Joshua is maybe if you just say Joshua is 5 feet, she will want to beat you like you said different things. Just to say you 5 feet, though, you know. So she's somebody who is, I mean, when they say real strong, that has sedition, not all, how you call it, what word Joshua you to this said that after we said what.
Multi-bank, charlatans.
Time sedition or real sedition. So she made a post today on her page. I even put in the chat room, but I was surprised that Chris doesn't even know the girl. He's saying that in our authentic. Instead of going on the page to verify the girl was there, I said they were on that girl page arguing with the girl. Oh, prophet that boy, yeah. And the girl said, no, I told you you're going to be a one-time president. And he wasn't, he's not going to come back. And she said in that post, she said, you put need to start forcing him out of his private life. This man is not ready. He was waiting to walk away 2023. You're forcing to go and they defeated him. Now you're dragging him out again. And you can see the man is depressed. And so it just caught my mama or reminded me when you mentioned it. You say he's depressed. Just look at him. Is that how the president usually look? So it makes me to start wanting to know the last time when the former president returned from the state, a lot of people were saying on Facebook that, oh, he's not looking no more. And I wish no one, ill health. But if it is true that he has any issue, especially from somebody who is from within, I would think that they need to let the man take a time to rest. Because sometimes when you rest, you rejuvenate. But if the man having issues and then you pushing him to public but people start coming at him, making today man go talk about China time, China. So somebody who want to respond to you and not Jeremy, maybe I will respond to you on Tuesday or why name Daniel Sando. They will start giving bad go to each other. It make him more depressed because he already thinking about somebody throwing talks at you. So if there is any issue, I hope that people around will let him to be, let him rest. 2029 is still far. Even if they want to force him to come to contest in the election, which doesn't mean he will win. Because I didn't see any strange person over there today. Everybody saw that put a supporter to the 2023. But let the man rest because at least it's a prayer. It's also a blessing seeing Madam Sally or another former president. So seeing a former president and leave where they passing, it's okay. So they should start forcing the man out of his private life according to what they really say. That's what I wanted to say. And actually, when she said that, it made me to start looking at the picture again and say, okay, something is not right.
So, Madam Lorena, I want to ask you a few questions. Now, if 2029, you have President Yuma Boakai on the ballot, you have former President George Weah on the ballot, you have state actor Alexander Cummings on the ballot, and then you also have another state actor Musa Hassan Belite on the ballot. Who will you be voting for and why? I want you to give us your honest opinion in regards to changes in Liberia, the change that we need.
Okay, so I don't want to discuss the future, but I cannot vote for former President Weah. I have seen the same people that were around him are the same people stay around him, stay in the leadership. So you already see that he already has a cabinet, a kitchen cabinet, right? So you already know it's the same people who are around you, the same chicken, the same arrogant people. They seen people who were dishing out money that you don't have to be an auditor, but you can know that money was moved from place to place. So I mean, so that tells me if a president we have also even come in the election to be able to attract people from the other side, the first thing he needs to start working on is the people in his immediate surrounding, with his kitchen cabinet to start making sure taking some hard decisions. But he might be afraid if he want to come back to contest, to say, okay, well, if I do this, people will not want to support me. So let me just have them here. But you will have them, but also a threat that people will not want to come around to support because they know these people. But somebody or Sidishan was telling me today that a very, not today, last night, a very big guy who is on the headquarter committee, and something he said, I said the same thing to him. He said the reason why president we have, former president, having those people around him is because the money they gave most of the guys for the campaign, the token, they not even use up to 20% on the campaign. So they have it, you want to use them, they want to make more. They will use that same money and build the party headquarters. And after it, as soon as it's dedicated, you will see, you will die. I said, really? He said, yes. I said, okay, if you see that, I said, because other than that, the same people being around him is a threat. But then from some corners we hear that he will not even come back. He doesn't want to contest, they are forcing him. But if he even had to contest, I will not support him. I already know he's working. Yeah.
I call 4 person name now. You only stress out one.
So I cannot support him, and I will not also support Honorable Musa Bilete for presidency. I will not support him for that.
Why?
And because when
Why?
it's about support, especially political support, your values, your principles must align with that of the person you want to support. You do that support because the person party color is green or is blue or is yellow. You support based on values and principles. So if somebody values and your values align, that's the time you start realigning. But you don't just jump up from the blue sky and start supporting. No. So I would not also support what's the name? My own lawmaker, he's my district lawmaker, Honorable Musa Hassan Bilite. And then coming to Mr. Arizona Cummings, we all know that Mr. Arizona Cummings, maybe if he have to regroup, form an alliance, maybe and become a running mate to somebody, something he has said he will not do. Maybe, that's something that we can think about, but we know he obviously, because it's just simple math. We know that politics is normal, to win is normal. He doesn't have that number. So I don't want to discuss it. And with Ambassador President, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, is everything okay? No. Is he doing some great job? Yes. Is he a president that listens? Yes, he listens. He hears the public cry and take action, something that former president will refuse to do. People talk, and you say you will not do anything about it. One is the case of the former foreign minister, Maxwell Kimiya. He said he will not do anything, but people cry about summer tour. He said he will not do anything, but until the U.S. government sanctioned before something was done about it. So he's somebody who doesn't listen. So that's the X. And for President Boakai, he listens while there are challenges, but the fact that he's somebody who listens to public cry and take action in the interest of the public, I could support him.
Great. You've made your case.
Yeah, the word could.
Yeah. Let me take it 98% that you will support him.
Yes, I could support him. It's every variable remain constant.
Now, if do we really need change in Liberia?
Yes, we need change in Liberia, but it depends which change you're talking about.
When I say change, I'm talking about change in every sector: roads, infrastructure, electricity, water, healthcare, education. Every single thing we need change in them. Now, you answer the question, yes, we need change. My next question to you will be, how do we attract the change? How do we attract the change when we keep bringing the same old folks that have been in the system, that knows the system, that know how to operate the system, but they have not changed the system, and we keep bringing them back? How do we bring the change?
So there is no government that will come to power and bring all the appointees from who are not Liberian or who that all of them will be people that have not worked in government before. No. So it's not possible. So that
No,
cannot be an
no, no, no.
excuse. But the only thing we
I want you
need.
to take, I want you to take the appointees from there. I want you to take the appointees from there.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I
so
want
would
you
you
to take the
deal with
appointees.
the elected people? Okay, so like I said, the president, like I said, His Excellency Joseph Yima Boaka and his son Jeremiah Kun, they are doing well. They are not doing 100%, but for the 21 months that they have been in power, they are done great achievements in many sectors. So while I wish and I pray and I hope and I know that by the third year they will do more than they have done, they are doing good. So is that the change you talk about? We are on the path of change. That's how somebody gets up from Monrovia in the morning and reach to Harper City, the same day on a taxi. And because it is because of that Omeru Day Forestry is no longer DEO or CEO in Liberia. You have to do education, master in education administration. That's the change we want. If you can reform the system, changes with all the other things will fall in place. That's the change we want. It's not that every sector is perfect or every sector are grasping onto it, but every sector is gradually grabbing onto it. And for those that are not grabbing onto it, the difference with we in CDC, I'm not a UP, but I mean, we will support the Unity Party-led government is we are able to explain the bad thing they're doing. When it was a rape case involved, a large rape case of the former foreign minister, no citizen could speak about it. But we are on Facebook and beating on the back of RG Koma and telling him that he's compromising the case. So that's the difference. So once you have this president who is able to listen and will say, President Parker, you need to suspend Brian McGill. He did. He suspended Brian McGill. It is the RG now because that's his Okote brother who is trying to compromise the case allegedly. Okote, allegedly. Let me say it that way. If I can go to court Monday, I'm getting issues. So yeah, so we have the change, we have President Boaka. We just need people. He's not everywhere every time, or he can't be everywhere at the same time, but we just need his foot soldiers to make sure if they appointed you as assistant minister for X, make sure that X is completely Xing. Everywhere X must be Xing all the time. And some of the challenges we pray that President Boaka will address is the issue of the MCC. And I know he listens and we are crying. Look at this UPS, a very strong that has supporter, Queen Johnson. She will take to her Facebook page and say the negative things that is is happening. But no citizen who are taken to that page 10 years ago and said this was wrong. No, you dare not. In fact, the first thing they will say, you bought it over. Maybe Cummings gave you money because Cummings was the richest opposition at the time. Cummings gave you money and this and XYZ. So President Boaka is the path that Liberia needs. He's a train that we needed to have gotten on to reach to the changes we want. And the changes are taking place. They are taking place. They are not at the speed we wanted, but the fact that we are just in 21 months or 22 months, 22 months, and it's at this speed, I can tell you for sure by December where the yellow machines will be in town, where every country will have that yellow machine, where we'll have the crusher and everything. I can tell you that road will be settled. It will just be left with the county administration. Road will be settled, and then education is gradually getting there, and other sectors will follow. Yes.
Thank you. Now, to make my input to this issue, I believe that President Boaka cannot change Liberia. And I'm disappointed in every single individual that elected him as president that also elected the vice president, Jeremiah Kwan as vice president. I'm disappointed in all of them. I'm disappointed in the folks that are thinking of bringing former President George Weah back to power. I'm disappointed in the folks that are anticipating of making Melvin Snow as president of Liberia, Senator Edwin Melvin Snow as president of Liberia. I'm disappointed in them. I'm disappointed in the people that are contemplating on making Yeke Koluba president of Liberia. I'm disappointed in them.
You left funny.
No, I'm being real to the issue. If we want change, then I think we should bring new system up. People saying Liberia, the system is there. No, the system is not there. We need to build something from scratch. Look at Burkina Faso, how it's improving. And people are waiting for President Bouakai to contest 2029. They will go to contest. They will go to vote for him. I'm sorry. That would be the case of Uganda president. That would be the case of Cameroon President Paul Biya. And the rest of the other presidents in Africa have stayed long, very old. They cannot talk. They cannot walk again. See what was happening in Cameroon. President sending his status outside there to run campaign. That's what will happen in Liberia 2029. Because I believe President Joseph Yuma Boakai is very old now, and he will not go around anymore. He will not. Now, if we say we want to bring the change and we keep bringing these people, President Boakai worked in the administration of Charles Taylor, he worked in the administration of Madam Ellie Johnson Sirleaf, and then we still brought him back as president. Why they say we want him to change? And then somebody will say when he was vice president, he had no authority. Now when he is president, somebody will say as he's president, he cannot go everywhere at the same time. Make this thing to make sense for me. If Jeremiah Kwan on the ballot, I urge nobody to vote for him. He has served as representative, vice president, and nothing have changed. This is not unique to President Joseph Yuma Boakai. The reason why I'm stressing this on him is because he has been serving in administration before. And these are things that you stress out. Now, if you are vice president and you carry suggestion to the president and the president doesn't listen to you, you have your constitutional right to resign. The reason why you are resigning is because the president is not listening to you as vice president. And there are so many wrong things that were done in the CDC administration, and it is happening under this administration again. Those things are happening. I mean, come on, 178 years, we're still talking about road construction. Come on. 178 years, we're still discussing a GSM company to carry towers in the various towns and villages. 178 years, we're still discussing lack of security at borders. 178 years, we're still discussing lack of potable water in the country. And we're still bringing these same folks. We're saying they will do their best. They will try. What is it that we want to see? What is it that we want to see? Graduating Liberia nowadays, they have no hope. People go to school, they graduate with the expectation of being ministers, representatives, being, directors. But those positions, you will not get it because you are not a politician, because you didn't sing praises to the administration when they were running campaign. It will not work. So in short, all of those that are serving right now, from the House of Representatives all the way to the executive, where you have all of the cabinet ministers, if any of these people say they want to contest, I believe we shouldn't give them a chance. We need fresh people. When I say fresh, somebody would think of Alexander Cummings. I don't know how competent he is, but I believe we need to give fresh people the chance. We need to give new group of people the chance to lead Liberia. Since the war, we've been having rulers and not leaders. In order for us to change that, we need to bring on new group of people. Not always CDC, Unity Party, CDC, Unity Party, CDC, Unity Party. Then we expect change. I believe we'll not get those changes. But again, let me welcome to the show our folks that are just joining us. Moluba Pele, is that your name?
Zaz Mabulu Pele.
Zaz Mabulu Pele. Zaz, welcome to the show this evening. How you doing, Chief?
Yeah, great gentlemen. Thanks very much for the invite to come a veteran way. Thanks to the people of Nima County, the county that I see as one of the most fastest growing county in terms of development and education. And the economic survivability is speeding gradually. So I'm Zaz Pele. I'm the current national youth leader of the movement for democracy and reconstruction of MDR of the people of Nima County. Thank you very much.
Zaz, are you working this government?
Yes, I'm working this government.
Which position you hold?
Why start the show with asking after what I'm working? I think it is important for it is important for us to address ourselves to the most pressing issues and those things concerning the nation and all issues. So what I'm working on, I'm working is not that much significant for now.
It will become issue of significant when the conversation continues. That's why we want to know.
Thank you very much.
Yes, so I beg you for the full introduction. Tell us which part of Liberia you from and your current position within this government. Let me welcome my
brother. So like I said in my intro, I am Zaz Mabulu Pele. I am a son of Lofa County, and I suffer from no identity crisis. My mother Bandi, my father Bandi. I hail from Kulaun district to be precise, Dambutan. And I'm an executive committee member of one of Liberia's fastest growing political party, the Movement for Democracy and Reconstruction. We are around ensuring that what we came for, what we envisage in terms of supporting the rescue government come to reality, and Liberia by itself in totality under this regime will be on the right trajectory developmentally, politically, economically, educationally. The government will get on its rightful trajectory. The man looking mute.
Where are you working currently, Zaz?
Mama, I'm in Liberia. I'm working with the MDR. I'm working with my party.
In this government, are you a minister, a director?
I used to serve. I don't want this conversation. There's a big platform. I don't want the conversation to centralize around your portfolio. As a student of political science, it is not a working ideology that when you fund for government, when you fund for change, it means you may benefit from the change. We have a responsibility. Our responsibility in the 2023 elections was to ensure that Liberia be given back to the ordinary Liberians, was to ensure that Liberia be placed in the right path and the right trajectory. And the vision and aspiration we came with today, you can see the reality all around us in Liberia today. If you are to visit Monserrado County, there are several road connectivity. If you are to go in the southeast in River Cells, in Sino, you will see speedy connectivities in terms of placing other counties on the grid to also benefit for electricity. If you are to go in some part of Nimba, you will see development is gradually and minority is improving faster than before. So we came to power not on the basis of our own political acrobatism. Will it believe that the father afford for government to come to power? It is a sole prerogative of the government that I'm a benefit from government by all costs. When the life of people continue to change gradually, you will see economic stability in the nations, and you will see everybody will be yearning for the kind of a change that we support.
Thank you. So the reason why I keep asking you the question that where you are working is based on the fact that the current ruling political party, Unity Party, their chairman referred to all of the other political parties aside CDC that they are all subset. So you are in a marriage with the Unity Party. I'm coming. You are in a marriage with the Unity Party. The entire country know about that. So if you are not working, then we will get to believe that the MDRO, including all of the other political parties, are all subset to the CDC or the Unity Party. That's the reason I'm asking you whether you are working or not.
I think in my wisdom as a liberal politician, I think it was not a bad statement from the chairperson of the Unity Party, veteran Luther Tappet. The fact that every election in Liberia there must be a runoff, and we realized that two political parties must go to the runoff elections, and those two parties that emerged in the runoff election was the Unity Party and the CDC. In the process of two parties going to runoff, all the political parties must combine and put their hand on the table. The problem in Egypt were not built by individuals. They were built by collective efforts of both Egyptians and foreigners. And today, the problem is Egypt will be one of the wonders of the world. But what really cost them is people have the belief that it was built by Egyptians. But it was not just built by Egyptians alone. So the ideology, the point stated by the chairperson that all political parties are a subset to the victory, realistically speaking, that was just a fact. That was the practical reality. India were not contesting for presidency. India did not contest for presidency. India was supported, and all other political parties supported Unity Party. So the fact that you supported Unity Party in a liberal and political realistic tool, you become a subset to the institution that won the election because you are not a major set. That is not debatable. So I think people may want to use it as a propaganda, and to just derail people from the school of thought or maybe our belief in terms of what we teach. I don't see that as a problem.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Zaz. It's good having you on the show this evening. My brother, Don Saros, welcome. How you doing, Chief?
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you, brother. It's a privilege to appear on this platform tonight. I want to say a very special thanks to big brother DK Way and all of you who are building this platform. And good evening to my Oma Lorena Donke. Good evening to my MDR brother. So even though my Oma and myself are in good terms, but I respect her. She's my Oma. She's my mother. And I pray that we have a nice conversation.
Who really in this administration that you are in good terms with, Cyrus?
Well, the UP administration, there are people there I love. I love Kaza, Dr. Victor Kaza, the CEO for JFD. He's doing well. One of the things that I have consistently spoken against that people don't understand is the idea of Nimba. So to look at Liberia, things affecting our people to make it look like Nimba is the only place we have in Liberia. I have problem with that conversation. But I love too many people, especially those who are honestly working for our people. It doesn't necessarily have to be
the superintendent of Nimba because she's working for the people now.
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that point. I don't think Cole is working for our people. Instead, she's working in her own interest. The woman is not even a principal.
Let's dive into it, Cyrus. That's why you are here tonight. Why do you think that she's not working for the people for her own interest?
So, in my opinion, and based on some of her activities, The Soup is more of a con artist, and who she presents herself to be in the public is not who she actually is. You know, to see somebody like the Cole that I knew yesterday is not the same Cole we are talking about today. You see, power can change people. Power can change people, and when you speak critical of them, they take offense. And you know, it was funny when somebody told me she has raid for me in Liberia and all of that. I said, "Come on, what a joke!" So you intimidate me about it, about raid and all of that. Look, Cole is violating a code of conduct, number one. Number two, and you are a student of law, Cole will be charged when George Weah comes to power. Cole will be charged and sent to LACC for misappropriation. Under our law, misappropriation is a crime. You know, most of the time when Senator Koga flags some of these issues, people will say, "Oh, he can fight, he can do this, he can do that." Trust me, it doesn't have to do with Senator Koga. People are watching. Listen, you can spend money on something and the tangible is visible. But what happens when the money is misapplied is a crime. You'll go to jail or you will have to restitute. If you file the Browning case, Browning did not steal the money and eat the money. Browning used the money, but then he did not use the money on what it was intended for. So Browning was charged for misappropriation and he lost his literacy as a result. You see, Cole spending our money in her own political interest only because Mr. Jeremiah Cohn brought Cole in a picture to replace Yang Tuanyen, something which does not even concern me. But my actual concern, my actual focus now is the idea that taking what belongs to our people and spending on central government is a misappropriation, and you will pay when the time reaches.
Thank you, Cyrus. Thank you for being here tonight. Zaz is here. This will be more of like a debate because I know Zaz is supporting this administration. And you are supporting George Weah administration, the past administration. So I want to ask you this question. I believe I've asked almost all of the guests that appear on the show. How do you rate the Joseph Boakai Lay administration as compared to the George Weah Lay administration, holding all factor constants with development, education, healthcare, and the rest of it?
Excuse me, is there the same Zah that was dismissed from Labor because he spoke out against the government when he frustrated Senator Johnson? Is there the same gentleman?
I mean, this is Zah, former director for Occupational Health and Industrial Safety, Ministry of Labor.
I just want to understand if this, because the Zah was dismissed because he spoke against what was done to Senator Johnson.
But it no way suggests that I'm not government fanatics.
No, you are not. You are not. If you are the one that you were illegally dismissed because you spoke against what was done to the senator who brought them to power. That's why I want to.
I don't want to discuss the word legal or not being legal or legal not being legally dismissed. But I think in my wisdom, that was a decision of the ministry at the time. And a ministry taking decision against doesn't mean holistically the government have taken decision against you. And when we were entity within the government, that was the Ministry of Labor. And maybe as per my TOR and as per the gunning law of the ministry, maybe I violated a clause there that warrant my dismissal. So I don't want to dive into that. We have come to discuss genuine issues. So the necessity of our conversation should stick to the point and we balance our arguments. But besides, I don't want to engage in the debate with arguments and some fallacious arguments that cannot substantiate the debates. Like you said, you falsely accused the superintendent saying that she has violated some part of the code of conduct without giving a clue or validated argument points that we can do a research, which part of the code of conduct was violated, which specific clause in the code of conduct was violated, so we can have the opportunity to debate these issues. So I don't want to run into that debate. So let's continue the debate and forget about whether our dismay, whether or not dismay is not important for us.
My brother Cyrus, you will come in there, Zaz. I beg you. I'm constrained to ask this question. You are really patriotic citizen of Liberia. Put all the partisan cap away, and I want you to answer this question. Why were you dismissed from Labor Ministry?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because I was dismissed because I violated an organic law of the institution.
Okay. Thank you. Cyrus, go ahead, Chief.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zah. Thank you for speaking out. So the fact that you went contrary to the law, you were dismissed. Thank you for that clarity. I had thought you were dismissed because you spoke your mind consistent with our law. So the fact that you were in violation, I don't hold that against our government. So the question you asked as to whether we should rate the two governments, look, you cannot compare two dissimilar things. CDC and UP governments are not the same when it comes to let's take it sector to sector. You know, when people use propaganda to hunt power, to chase power, to chase wealth, and when they succeed in getting wealth, they turn their back on the people. You see, United Party, I once supported President Baika. For full disclosure, I supported President Baika in 2017 up to 2023. You know, I was a very diehard supporter of the United Party, especially I believed in President Joseph Boyka's ideology at the time, but I never knew that when Senator Johnson said President Boyka is somebody who is very crooked, I took offense to that, but later did I realize that Senator Johnson was right. You know, the old man is actually crooked. He talks, he know how to present lies, and people will say, oh, the United Party is mancho, because you know why? When you hear them say they are mancho, it is because they know how to modify lies. They know how to make it appear classic. And I can recall perfectly when we took over in 2018, we could see community roads being paved. Community roads in Monrovia being paved. You could see we are going out lobbying for Liberia, and some of the proceeds of we are lobbying has to do with the military hospital, the 14 military hospital. We have the Emirates Hospital, and because we are went to Macron, we are came from there with $10 million. You know, so there were too many international visits we are made, and Liberia benefited from those visits. Infrastructurally, since President Salif, I think history has recorded Weah as a successful president, even though he served for one term. And some of these things they keep taking glory of, they keep fighting. Oh, the RIA corridor, the Southeastern Highway, you know, the road from Ganta to Loguatu. Those are projects that we are initiated. Those projects were placed in the budget. They know about that. They know about that. Today, you see them all over the place bragging about NPA headquarters. Today, you see them bragging about the school president we have built in Ganta. Those are visible tangibles. You know, they are not things that you will use propaganda to swat away. The people themselves, Liberians, are no longer blind to United Party propaganda. You know, they have the propaganda machinery, and they boast about it. They brag about their sophistication when it comes to propaganda, but you cannot intellectualize hardship. Our people are suffering. Since this woman came to power, the 3 billion that China promised them, according to themselves, Liberia is yet to receive that 3 billion. All of a sudden, when they went to Indonesia, they said the government of Indonesia promised them $10 million. Liberia is yet to receive that money. Again, they woke up one morning and said they've purchased 285 yellow machine, earth moving machine. That's how they call it. It is yet to come. The buses, the 400 pieces of buses from Ghana is another zero. Everything is about propaganda. Everything is, look, if you're ready to catalog the projects we are did in Liberia, Unity Party has nothing to show. If I perfectly recall, the only project that Unity Party can boast of, the only project that Unity Party can point at since this woman came to power, that's the wooden police booth to Boulevard Junction. And mind you, the guys are saying that wooden booth, that small structure, that wooden booth, they say is 30,000 United States dollars. It tells you they are not even ready. You know, so they bought their way, they use propaganda, they bought their way to come to power, and governance and propaganda have juxtaposition. You can use propaganda to deceive, but for governance, you must make impact in the lives of the people. If you want to compare the two regimes economically to know which regime Liberians benefit from and which regime Liberians are suffering under, the people will tell you that people continue to speak out loudly. Like I think 2 years or 2 months ago, when trained journalists visited Red Light, Douala, and other areas in Monrovia, I think you witnessed that. You witnessed that. You listen to the marketeers. People are crying. Even the very civil servants. I think one of the auspices they used to come to power was about civil servant salary. And by then, they had earlier promised that no civil servant was going to earn below 150. Today, civil servants are still earning $75, $80. DEA personnel, police earning $100 under this regime. You know, so the harmonization policy that CDC introduced, that they criticized, it is the same policy they are still using today. Where is the change? So it was never about change. It was solely about, reviving President Baika. It was solely about reviving him because he was drowning. He was at the verge of losing his life due to poverty. So the country revived him at its own detriment. We revived this old man who was already on his way at the detriment of our people. And today, instead of progressing, Liberia continues to retrogress on a daily basis. What's a new thing? There is nothing to show, my brother. There is nothing. All of us have our people back home. There is absolutely nothing to show. The RIA corridor that you will see them bragging about, that they have transformed the corridor. Look, Unity Party was in government for 12 years, 12 unbroken years. What did they do? Nothing. When President Weah came, because of his international connection, he decided to use his lobbyistic power, talk to investors, mobilize resources. Today, we have somewhere we call RIA corridor. And the corridor, look, the beautification of that place is what the UP is fighting to take credit of. Take for instance, get to Nimba County. Most of the time, when I was in Liberia during the 2023 election on the campaign, the only campaign message that resonated with our people, that made CDC unpopular with our people, and to a point that my mother was at a point of voting for Joseph Boakai until I went there, was that George Weah was importing kush and other illicit substances in Liberia. So this message resonated with our people, and it made it look like they have solution, because Joseph Boakai is a superman. They have solution to fighting drugs. Today, God will have they won. Where are we with this, with the fight against drugs? Instead of drugs being controlled as they promised, today drugs is something normal. People are living now with drugs. Young people take in drugs. And you every day like tomorrow about 20 to 2 persons will die.
Provide the percentage of the government of Georgia.
There is no specific data on the number of young people that die.
In your wisdom, what do you think would be the statistic when it comes to road connectivities, when it comes to the issue of illicit drugs in the country, when it comes to the health sector, when it comes to education? All of these things, just in your wisdom from your own observation, when it comes to price control, when it talks about or the price of our basic thing we control like rice. When they talk about the gasoline aspect, give an all percentage on these things, then we know what we're heading. But now on the basis of something we call argumento ad populum, just on the basis of giving fallacious arguments or how you perceive, how you see things. There's a very big platform. We should mount this intellectual discourse with facts. Now the mere opinion on the basis of hatred, on the basis of malice, on the basis of how you think, on the basis of because I support one Kennedy who doesn't have the moral, intellectual, political, administrative pedigree to discuss issues. He lacks what we call potential power, actual power. He doesn't have the ability to govern himself. Then you be talking about him, yeah? Give this percentage that flow on, my brother.
So I'm sorry if you want to moderate, but maybe you can moderate there. I will have the conversation with you. I will have the no, listen. If you want to moderate, I will have the conversation. I will have a conversation with Junior. But this is not University of Liberia where supers go and be yelling. Yelling is not intellectualism. I'm telling you. I'm telling you those things that are lacking sector by sector. Agriculture is zero. Today, like, you know, one day I was on Facebook.
What was the start of the agricultural process in Liberia in your 2 years? In
Zaz,
yes.
Zaz, you will have your time.
No problem.
Exactly. Exactly. You open egg. I don't know if it is poultry or egg factory. You said you are going to be producing egg and things. Instead of egg being sold for 50, I don't know, the chicken you brought in the country, the chickens are taking family planning. Instead of egg being sold for 50, eggs now are $100 in the country. Now you still muster the courage to be defending. But here is the thing. How many counties in a country that you will go to defend this government? The people live with the reality, and then you will want to intellectualize it in a way that you will present an argument to counter what they are facing. The people are facing hardship, abject poverty. So now, when people go to red light market, when journalists go there to interview them, you will hear the people saying, "We are suffering, we are hungry. Things are hard. Things are worse now than George Weah did." And now Unity Party will say, "No, things are not hard. Things are very easy." So it's almost like a woman telling you, your wife telling you, "Oh, I'm pregnant," and you say, "No, baby, you are not pregnant. Nothing is wrong with you." Why are you arguing? The people are telling you things are not fun, and they continue to speak loudly. Today, the George Weah that you're torn apart with propaganda in 2023, the same George Weah was in the street today. He was celebrated, and guess what? Most of 15% of those who celebrated George Weah are Unity Party people. What happened to agriculture? Where is the president from? I said this guy is an agriculturist. Where is he from? He doesn't own any farm. You know, so the country is things are worse. Things are not hard, but things are worse. You know, so today, look, George Weah does not need to worry himself to campaign because the party is already campaigning for him. George Weah will not be yelling all over the place. Because if you see a government, there is no strategy, there is no policy. Everybody is on 2029. Everybody is just focused on 2029. The president, look, I'm very disappointed in this old man because for me, I had thought, even though I didn't vote for him, but I had thought President Barker was going to set a legacy for Liberia. This is somebody who is already on his way. What happened to cutting his salary? What happened to setting a salary structure for the legislature? You know, so those things are not happening. And you go around, citizen did this, citizen did that, and you see that.
Thank you, Dosaros. We will come back for second round of this, and
so my interrupted time. I hope my interrupted time can be added because the camera could not give me chance. They are yelling things.
So definitely we will come back for a second round, and I hope you get prepared because at certain point in time, I know there will be question. you want to ask him question, he might want to ask you a question. But one of our panelists wants to make his contribution to the show. Now, before we go to Zaz, I think we should be realistic with the conversation, be more of a patriotic citizen than being a partisan.
Exactly.
Let's speak the interest of Liberia. Let's speak the interest of the future of Liberia. Before you guys came on the show, I said it point blank. Joseph Boakai, President Joseph Boakai, former President George Weah, Vice President Kun, and the rest of the folks that have served in government, I don't think they are competent enough to liberate the Liberian people. An example is former President, President Joseph Jomaah Boakai. You served in the Taylor's administration, you served under the Manaeli administration, and now you are serving your own term.
Even though as well.
What is it that you have done that you never did during those terms that you want to do now? What is it? And we're crying for change. We say we want change. How do we bring the change when we're still bringing the old folks? The same old people that are comfortable sitting in the executive mansion without going out there to lobby on behalf of the Liberian people. We're still bringing them. But Zaz, let's hear you, my brother. Go ahead, lay the basis, rate this administration as compared to the past administration. You are muted, Zaz.
Okay, thank you very much. You getting me clear? So the first thing, we got to power 2024. From 2024, after the election, 2022 and 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025, that 1 year. We are going gradually in 2024 and 6, January, February, maybe making us 2 years. So when we discussing governance, and in all fairness, we will firstly place the both government and take into consideration that 2 years or 1 year, 8 months or 9 months performance. In 1 year, 9 months, let's deal with the issue of rice. In 1 year, 9 months, we have a price of rice in Liberia for 2,600. In George, we have 6 years. Rice price have never dropped to 2,600. In Boakai, 1 year, 9 months, the price of rice today is $1,000 and $2,600, $2,700. That's stability, that's statistic. That's a realistic patriotic analysis. We leave the issue where we come to gasoline. In Boakai, 1 year, 8 months, 9 months, we have the price of gasoline around $7.30 to $7.50. In George, we are 1 year, 8 months, 9 months. We never had the opportunity to buy gas for $7.30. Today, in Boakai, 1 year, 8 months, all like bro, we are buying gasoline for that price. We come to the issue of transportation under the National Transit Authority. In Boakai, 1 year, 8 months, the National Transit Authority across Liberia bought NTA bus from Monrovia to Maryland for $5,000. In Georgia regime, from Western to Maryland, you pay not less than $25,000 Liberian dollars. That is a realistic.
You build a road to where the buses can go. No, you build a road there.
Please wait for me. Since you had a road issue, you should ensure that the price drop. Please give me a chance. I'm giving you realistic statistic. I'm not giving you fake statistic. Something that is visible that you can see where you are. In 1 year, 6 to 7 months, we have a transportation fare across the country. You can take an NTA bus from here to Kulaun district to Vonyama for 5,000, 6,000. In George,
because we are building road for local people.
Please mute that man. Please mute that man. You gotta mute the man. Man, they step in my conversation. I gave you serious analysis here. So these are realistic statistics. In 1 year, 6 months today, in Riverside County, their electricity In 1 year, 6 months, in Sino County, the electricity. So when you come to governance and you come to intellectual discourse and you do comparative analysis, you bring the two governments on the pedestal and analyze them not on the basis of being too political, on the basis of being real, on the basis of being patriotic, on the basis of putting yourself in the shoe of the ordinary Liberian who you purport to be defending. So in 1 year, 6 months, most of the feeder roads in Liberia across the country have been managed by the Ministry of Public Works. There is a first of a kind in 1 year.
Say that again, please. Say that again, please.
Don't you need to give the comrade a chance.
There was
a slave in between.
I repeat myself. This is first of a kind in the history of Liberia in 1 year, 8 months. That in a deep rainy season, we never heard about no troubleshooting problem coming from any major counties or highway. That's a plus in your 1 year, 8 months, there were protests. There were simultaneous protests in every sector of Liberia. In 1 year, 8 months, the construction of the road from Freeport to Simple Bridge is undergoing serious 4G construction. In 1 year, 8 months, your project that were initiated by Madam Salim and you keep to complete, and your inability to sit with East International and critique their performance, your inability to understand the dynamics and the dialectics and the process leading to this road connectivity, bringing forth those with the capacity to digest and understand and read, and actual the necessity of the Rabat International Airport road. This government, under this government today, that road is first and more equal. That road today is first and more equal. Under this regime, the road from Saclay PA to Tapeta is undergoing a 4G construction on an alpha pavement. Then you come to the discourse with be sincere to yourself. Under this government today, the Labor Water is for corporations. You see the number of pipes we bring in 1 year, 8 months. You see the speedy transformation in the water and sewer administration headed by Comrade Victor Mo Ali. These are visible reality that people can see for themselves. You don't need a rocket scientist. So these things have been done simultaneously. So when you come onto the platform, let us not use the discourse on the basis of just against the government, and I won't see the government. So for those reasons, even if they are doing extremely tremendously well, they don't have yet. In 1 year, 8 months, there have not been a single call from the Rabat International Airport on the basis of the transformer oval, no generator, the plate dago. There have been serious progress. There have been the records are there. There have been serious progress. In 1 year, 8 months, the judiciary arm of the government is structured in a way that you see the transparency, the level of transparency. In 1 year, 8 months, this government has fought drugs to 8 epics. Today, I can openly challenge you. You don't see ghetto so easily in any part of Liberia. There have been serious fight against the issue of drugs under this administration. There have been a robust approach using community engagement. So if you come to the discourse and there are no issues to discuss and you don't want to discuss on the basis of statistics, just give a local man understanding when people can do comparative analysis. This is the first government in the history of Liberia to introduce development and give back governance to the Liberian people themselves. You talk about the legislature that President Bwaga he has not come to tell the legislator, when I'm a man, simple mathematics, simple calculation, simple legal thing. You are an educated person. Where in the world the president has the right to decide the legislature pay to say, oh, you do this? You don't say that. That Bwaga will go do the legislature. That's the first branch of government. That's a separate branch of government, but they only coordinate. They only coordinate. You don't go there to dictate to them, but they coordinate. You understand? There's a government where the legislature, you can see the transparency of the legislature. You see the transparency in the judiciary system. There is no interference in any governmental sectors or cycle. There's the government we're talking about, His Excellency President Joseph Nima Bwaga.
So the yelling is for reinstatement or is to prove? I don't understand the
My
reason
man,
for
I'm looking for
yelling.
job. I'm not looking for job, comrade. I said it far.
Okay, let me try to dissect. Let me try to dissect some of the
You
lines.
saw me
Let's
cry.
make it. Let's make the conversation interactive, right? I heard you say. I heard you lament on the judiciary. And if you go to the judiciary, that's where I belong. You said the judiciary is transparent, and the government you support respects the rule of law.
Very
You
well.
know, I will not want to ask you to tell me what the rule of law is. I will not want to delay us, but I want to ask you this question: if the highest court, the court that presides all over constitutional issue, the Supreme Court, if the Supreme Court rules, for example, and say, listen, this is the ruling, and under our law, the Supreme Court is the final arbiter of constitutional justice. Now the Supreme Court ruled and said, this is the ruling, and if the executive branch fails to adhere to the ruling, is that term, right?
Be specific.
I'm putting my question in context here. If the Supreme Court, if Supreme Court is the highest court in every country, whether common law system, whether civil law, whether hybrid system, the Supreme Court of every country is the highest. You say?
That's what makes them supreme.
Exactly. Now, Supreme Court has been rendering decision. They have brought verdict, and the executive fails to adhere to their verdict. Is that your definition of respect for rule of law?
My brother, that is the reason why you should put your question into context and be specific. Specify your questions. There are a lot of cases.
In a Funati case,
you cannot say that. The issue of Funati is a separate branch of government. The issue of Funati case has to do directly with the legislature. So when it reaches the executive branch, the president will get aspect of rules and ground rules. You must always work with the majority.
See that you can't lecture me about law. I told you I belong there. I know the function of the court. I know the function. If we talk about separation of powers doctrine, I know about the doctrine. I know the coordinate, but every branch has a responsibility. The responsibility of the judiciary is to interpret our law. Now, Funati rights were violated, and he ran to the court. And the court ruled that, the court in its wisdom ruled that the majority bloc, the so-called majority bloc decision, their actions were illegal, and that they asked the executive branch to not work with the so-called majority bloc. But the president ignored the president that you claim respects the rule of law. The president ignored.
Hello. There was a decision made by the president even before the Supreme Court came out with final verdict. The president was clear that I'm going to work with the majority because that's what the rule says. If you ask a seated president of the country, there's an issue at the legislature, and you say you talk about governance, you talk about legality, and you say you cannot work for the majority, but yourself, the president, you'll be worried. Your opinion will be very close.
There is nothing in the Constitution. I will not honestly allow you to mislead the listening audience. There is nothing in the Constitution called majority.
You spoke about the superintendent, and you said you are a legal practitioner. You did not come back to give us which clause, which specific error in the code of conduct that you have violated. So you also mislead on several occasions. You are making several statements.
Let's stick with the judiciary. The president, I want to dispel the lies that the president respects the rule of law. No, he does not. He does not respect the rule of law. No, he does not. He does not. Let's move to the next issue.
They told you where you're supporting. You know how many things they did around here?
No, don't ask me. I want you bring the facts.
Say you came with clean, you came with equity, you want to preach clean issues. It is important that you just forget what George Weah been the representative pedestal. Because George Weah was the progenitor. He was the chief progenitor of butchery our law in Liberia. the issue of Cabinet Janet. Where's the case today? So you cannot be purporting to be.
I should be asking you. Listen. Here, much I support George Weah. I do not support his action against Justice Janet. You see the difference between us. I'm not blinded by politics.
I don't support President Kwame.
I know truth. I know truth. I don't support George Weah.
Comrade, I am more objective than you.
Which decision of Baka you criticize?
You saw me criticize the government on the stage. I print the funeral. You know to take that kind of bullshit.
That was the action that you just condemned. Let me tell you, there is something in law called variance. Variance is to provide information. You just said you were dismissed. No, come here. 1 minute, Junior. You just said in your intro when you were asked, when Junior asked you why were you dismissed, you said you breached the law, and you are talking about criticizing Baka if you were dismissed. Listen,
yes, I breached the law.
If you were dismissed,
as a professional civil servant, it is my full responsibility to know where, when, and how to speak on public occasions. Where
that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. The law that control your ministry is an ordinary law, and it does not have a supreme
ordinary law.
Let me hold the two of you there. Let me hold the two of you there for a little bit. We have one of our panelists on the line. He want to make his contribution. Good evening, Mr. Kilabo. Welcome to the show. How you doing, Chief?
Yes. Good evening, or what I should say. Yeah, I think most of you in Africa, well, it's evening time in the US too. So I would say good evening, you guys. I've listened to the two folks that are having debate between the CDC government records and the Unity Party government records. But I'm just going to make a quick contribution. I don't want to be in the middle of this debate because I don't know the objective of this debate, but there's something that is dear to my heart as an observer of the political process in Liberia over years that I want to point out. First, I'm not a Unity Party person, neither am I a sedition. And in 2020, where I was part of this wave of demand for political change in Liberia, was condemning the CDC government. And particularly, the example would be the sports park, the Invincible Sports Park. I was one of those who criticized that from the distance in the US. In 2023, when I went to Monrovia, it turned out I changed my mind. I experienced a come to Jesus moment that sports park under the CDC government was one of the monumental achievements of the CDC government. It has a place in the history of Liberia. I started to reflect because from the morning to the night, I saw young people standing on line to use the facility. That revealed the need for such a facility in the country. And that was the first of a kind since 1847 in the history of Liberia. We never had a sports park. We did it. And that, for me, is set, we have vision, is setting apart from many other presidents. In fact, the striking one is, I haven't seen that one, but I see a video. It is a Unity Park. Something that I thought the Unity Party government, headed by President Selig Kula, even envisioned that this is where 13 people were put on firing squad. That was a place to build a monument to bring Liberians together. The 12 years, they never saw that vision. It took President Weah, the man with less political education, to do that, to see that vision and say, this is good for the country. And it is a monumental achievement. that you can't even put a value to it, because you know what? It's a place that today, even under the current government, when tourists go to Liberia, they take them to Unity Park. I mean, that's a stand-out facility so far, current facility in Liberia today that people go. In the morning, in the night, young people are there trying to relax, bringing relaxation to their mind. You know, I mean, going there to release their stress, experience the cold breeze from the Atlantic Ocean. I think it was a vision that no other leader saw besides him. You know, I gave that to him. For example, I know maybe you guys have talked about it. I was teaching at the University of Liberia when they brought in the no tuition thing. I criticized it. But because of other reasons which I criticized it, I thought it was not well planned. But it was also criticized by the opposition. But today, 2 years into the Unity Party administration, they've upheld that policy. So it means it was a good policy. Okay? But it was criticized then. Then you think on the wire. You know, Unity Party criticized it. Today they've not reversed it. It was a good policy. Now, if you look at medical doctors, and do not take it from Kelebo Gongo, go to the College of Surgeon and Physician. It's on Congo Town, right there, almost opposite the Spring, I think Spring Valley Hotel is right there, up the hill. Go there and ask for the list of medical doctors, specialists that have been trained in the country so far. It was under the CDC government that the highest number of physicians, specialists, surgeons, and physicians were trained. It was under the CDC government, not under the Unity Party. In fact, under the CDC government, when you go for training, they give you 100% of your salary as a medical doctor. So most of the doctors who were in training, they took their family with them because they were getting whatever they're getting. So the government has increased. So those are achievements. You know what it has been, what the Unity Party government has done to those in training now? They said they are civil servant. I'm coming on it, you know. They said these doctors in training who have been trained to be specialists and return to the country, they are civil servant. So when you are in training, they give you 50% of your salary. So most of them who went under the CDC government and the rule change, they are now getting 50% of their salary. So you are making $1,000 and your living, your budget of living was on $1,000 a month. You are now being given $500 a month, taxable. Okay, so it has caused them constraint while studying abroad. So a lot of them are disturbed now. I speak with authority on this because I know people who are affected by that. You know, some of them, they're not sure whether they will even continue their training to become specialists. They might return. So those are achievements of the CDC government that, and they are minimal. But I think for this one stand out to me because, you know, I was critical of them. Then I realized that, okay, I think I was in error with this. You know, I wanted to put it out there for the guys who are debating this issue.
So before you go, Mr. Kilebo, I got two questions to ask you. One of you have been your long time advocacy for the House of Representatives to be audited. Now on Thursday, the House voted so that the representative can be audited from 2022 to this current day, 2025. What say you? Do you think your dream is being met or this is being politicized?
I think it has been politicized. But here is a reason why I say it's been politicized. You know, the House of Representatives, Jim, if you go and just do the numbers, the analytics, from 2006 to present, okay, let me not say to present, to 2024, Liberia has spent nearly $1 billion on the legislature in salaries and what in other services in terms of budgetary allocation, almost $1 billion. Okay, without no audit. without no audit. So we didn't call for audit. We are saying, listen, there is statutory period for audit, right? Say 5 years. You don't go beyond 5 years. So we said, okay, we agree. But let's just audit then. Those who are outside the statutory limit will now hold them accountable. Those who are within the statutory limit will hold them accountable. But let the record reflect that this is what Mr. X did. Even though we can't hold them responsible again, but let the public know that this is what it did. You know the reason why they're starting from 2022? If they start from 2018, we have said as a compromise, if you can start from 2006, start from 2018 under George Weah administration to present. The reason they can do that is because the Vice President and Thomas Fala, the wealth they got, 90% of that wealth came under George Weah. So if they start to audit, when Kun was part of the Ways and Means Committee at the House of Representatives, if they start to do that, Kun will run out of Liberia. Liberia will run beyond Kun. That's what they can do. That's what they signal of biggest step to say, oh, we'll start from 2022. Because in that case, it's pushing Thomas Fala under the boss.
Thank you. Now,
so you hear all these rumors about Thomas Fala will be removed. That's the foundation of that. Because once they go there, Thomas Fala will run away too. But if you start from 2018, Kun also will resign.
Thank you. Now, taking you to the current discussion, I listened to you carefully, and then you said those things that were criticized by the Unity Party-led government, they are currently being implemented by the Unity Party-led government. In short, I think what I understand from that is that nothing has changed. So now, if we need change in Liberia, we need change when it comes to stable electricity, good road facility everywhere across the country. We need stable Wi-Fi or stable running water within all of the households in Liberia. Do you think we should still go with the Unity Party, the CDC, the MDR, and all of the existing political parties that have been there before, the existing politicians?
No, Gino, I have argued, and I still do argue. I'll put it this way. Like in the United States, once you contest for president, I think so far Donald Trump really set a history. A former president came and contested and won. But in the United States, the president, you lose election, you move on. Even the president, and you don't go for the second time, the defeat you just move on. They don't come by. They move and give space to the others. So, because you are not the only person with ideas in the country. There are millions and millions of Americans that can come on the stage. So they just move on. That's our political culture. However, that's not our culture in Liberia. My argument is that CDC as an institution and Unity Party as an institution, we should ask ourselves, as a post-war nation, we are not the only post-war nation in Africa. Rwanda or Sierra Leone, other post-war nations in Africa, like Ethiopia. Let's compare their growth with Liberia. Has our economy grown any closer to any of these countries in terms of improving education, health, and infrastructure? Have we done better compared to any of these countries? So, if the answer is no, do you apply the post-war economy and political development have not done us a good job? Let's try a different group. That's my argument. However, because there's something I will repeat myself on this because I think it's repeated many times. Particularly the country has education. And they do that deliberately. The reason to do that is because when you invest, you reap the investment. When the electorate is poor, then they come back to reap because the way they make that decision is based on emotion and lack of voter education, lack of understanding of civic duty. So they vote on what have you done? Do you know you may have a good idea if you go to your district today? You want to say, You what have you done? When you don't have to do anything to be a good leader, you have integrity, which many politicians don't have, and that is what you have, and that's what you want to offer to the people. That with my integrity, I can change. I'll make laws. I will better your life. I will not steal from your budget. I will not steal from your allocation. But they will ask you, what have you done? And that question is a poor question, but it's a question that is based on lack of education, lack of proper education. And that's why the politician is job.
Thank you.
So this was saying, listen, you still to party. I think this is a way to go because CDC has both people who are victims of the management of country prostitution. It's the largest mass-based political movement in the country. So they are the victims. So people need to go there and actually fight for them. And that's why I felt that the CDC government, some people in the CDC government, it was a perfect opportunity to launch a grassroots political revolution and the mismanaged it,
Thank you.
But I think all is not lost.
Thank you, Mr. Kilabo. Really appreciate your input tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And so, gentlemen, we had to do that. So let's come back to the discussion. We have less than 20 minutes on the show. Cyrus, we give you 5 minutes to lay your basis, and after that, we give Zaz 5 minutes to do so. But we do not want interruption. Give the man a chance to say what he wants to say. And after that, if you have any other reporter, then you can do that. But Cyrus, let's hear you, my brother. You are muted.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Thank you so much. The thing about governance, I will always say this to my brother and Junior, if there will be a time for us to ask each other, I think it will be prudent that you pose the question either to me or to him, because trust me, if I ask this brother of mine 100 times, he will not want to answer. He will be only diversionary tactics and all of that. I know you people, so if they want to be posting a question and somebody will be forced to answer. So now to use a 5 minute wisely, Liberians missed George Weah. Liberians were lied to. George Weah was blackmailed. They lied to our people. I will be asking myself rhetorical questions as I go on. And one of the questions is, these people campaign against drugs, that George Weah is importing drugs. Where are we? Have they put stop to drugs? I remember during the Weah's administration, we used to hear about Kush. And they said Weah was the one importing Kush in Liberia. Today, it is no longer about Kush. Joseph Boyka has introduced Spark and Die. I think Kush used to make people abnormal. It used to make people that they are Zepse and all of that. But instead of being Zepse, where your parents will see you around, the old man has introduced Spark and Die. The moment you taste, you are gone. RIP. So the fight against drugs, it is nowhere. And I listened to Fadiga, the former DEA assistant boss. I listened to him on the closing argument when he said, Liberia, the Joseph Boyka administration has lost the war against drugs. I listened to him, and he's a rescuer though. Now, let's move to another issue. He talked about rice. He talked about gasoline. You are a student of law. You cannot be a regulator at the same time you regulate, and then you will want to be regulating at the same time you'll be implementing what you're supposed to be regulating. The government is using that military tactics You go all over the place with gunmen. I saw Jeremiah Kuhn with a group of gunmen around him, intimidating business people that they must, instead of strategizing policy, instead of crafting policy to bring a long-term solution to reduce rice price, if they are intentional about it, to reduce rice price perpetually, they were seen around militarizing our people, militarizing business people, intimidating them, putting fear in them, using excessive power on our people to reduce the prices of commodity at all costs. That's not policies. That is a military policy. We are a democratic state. You don't use gun to intimidate business people. That's not a strategy. You know, if they were intentional about reducing the prices of local commodity, especially so political commodity, craft an idea, craft a policy, workable policy that will have long-term impact on the people, on the market, you know, and subsidize the market. When George Weah wanted the price of rice to reduce, he subsidized the market. George Weah did not use gun to tell the people rice price must come down only because they want to prove a political point. No, Weah did not do so. Weah subsidized the market. He gave them money, and you know, importers were importing at a specific price. So you could understand that the prices of commodity, local commodity, were not exorbitant as compared to what is happening now. And because the prices are exorbitant and the commoners are complaining, they want to prove a point. So you see them around using Jeremiah Kuhn and a group of military officers. You see EPS, people that told gun. You know, our people, Liberia fought war for several years, and our people are afraid of gun. So the moment they see gun, even if they are their own property, they will want to give it to you free. That's why many people are afraid. But watch this process. You will see that rice price will increasingly go up times 2. 2 things will happen. Either the price goes up, increasingly goes up, or importers will decide to say, I will not import goods. You know, so because of that policy, our people will be strangulated, because that's not an economic policy. I'm not a student economist, but it is a simple idea to use. If you want to say, okay, I will not want the people to sell rice $14, what you do is you subsidize the market. You give them money so they can import, and you buy from them on a specific rate.
Thank you, Don. Thank you so very much.
My 5 minutes over.
Yeah, you laid your 5 minutes.
Okay.
You laid your 5 minutes. Zaz, let's hear you, my brother. Let's give you your opportunity.
Hear me now?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. I just want to make a few clarity in my 5 minutes. He made mention of the vice president carrying security personnel to intimidate business people on the issue of the price of rice. That's a myth. That's a fallacy. It's not factual. And in this modern democracy, we're not in a failed state. We're not in a police state where you will see members of the executive running with armed people all around to stabilize price. That have never happened anywhere in Liberia. That's a merit and jealousy, hatred. And you said something. When you come to intellectual discourse, one thing you said, and I buy into it, approach the discourse with patriotism. Be very much patriotic enough, not on the basis of because I love the party so dearly, so my prayer is this other party when I see endeavors. That's not being patriotic. There's nowhere in the Republic of Liberia, nowhere, I challenge anybody that any persons in government, high-ranking government official, have taken armed persons behind, even at the Ministry of Commerce, to say they took armed behind to rest dealer play to suppress and demanding to bring down the price of rice. This under this government, the price of rice we are stabilized, the price of rice to $14 US. And all across the country, $14 US. So to come on the platform and say, oh, the vice president took security person, that was just a myth, that was just a bluff, to just give undeserved relevance to the discourse. Besides, the big brother who just left the platform, you call a fool and try to give an or analysis in terms of the health worker and other things. But I just try to provide this clarity and some few corrections. He made mention of mass party. CDC is now a mass party. There's a difference between mass party and massive party. A mass party, you cannot see a mass party in the CDC. That contradiction. So as we be leaving the platform, you do your research and Google the both of them. Massive party is where you see plenty of ordinary people. That massive party. When you talk about mass party, MASS, mass party is an ideological political institution that believe in institution than individual. Google and do your research. And CDC does not have that characteristics to be a mass party. If you say they are a massive-based party, we will agree. Because few group of ordinary Liberians who believe that we are the only person that can change country and don't have the political leadership to transform Liberia and to see all going to where we are today, they see themselves to be out of the cycle. So, like I said previously, there is no condition. You can compare a 1 year, 9 month George Braga government, President John Newman Braga government with this government, in every form of minor. When it comes to the issue of payment of civil servant, my brother, since this government took over in 2024, there has not been a day you on one radio station that government has not paid a challenge anybody. So these are issues. The debate was very clear. The debate was presented, it was very clear. The debate was this government and CDC who have performed. So we were not discussing CDC 6 years holistically. Imam Wisdom as emerging intellectual, I think to discuss CDC and United Party on a Braga leadership, we will be discussing a 1 year, 8 months, 1 year, 9 months. Placing them on a political microscope to digest them, to see in 1 year, 8 months, 9 months, what have this government done? What have this other government have done? And these are some of our greatest achievements. You are in Liberia, and you are aware of that. There is nowhere in Liberia, any landmarks, all the 100 and some more government spending entity. Government not owing anybody, government being paid. That's a plus. That's a serious boost of our government. Under this regime, we have the issue of, the Water and Sewer Corporation, on a serious boost. That's a plus. You cannot compare our government to past government. So these things is not about filibustering. It's not about mounting all the platform where they believe that you have the intellectual prowess, you have the sex, you have the calories. It's about coming to the discourse with facts. It's not about coming to the discourse with envy. It's not about coming to the discourse with petty gossip or jealousy. This government is on a red trajectory. You talk about the fighting of drugs. You're not in Liberia. I live in a slum community. I'm speaking from Dora community. It's one of the slum communities in Liberia. If you were to enter Dora community today under the leadership of the current DA commander, who is also Mubuya out district, in my wonder, that's a tremendous improvement in the issue of fighting drugs. There have been a robust approach. The community put themselves are getting themselves involved.
Thank you.
We are taking issues on holistically. So to just say this government not doing nothing, the government not performing, only because you opportune to say it, to speed our voice.
Thank you.
You're not serious.
Thank you, Zaz. I really appreciate you for being here tonight. Same goes to my brother, Saros Dakoy. Thank you for being here tonight, my brother. It was really, really a good conversation. And I think we can play something again for another day.
Yeah, because they were impromptu.
Yeah, so that we
I
can
gotta come out of party, man.
Such a wonderful conversation. This is good for our politics, and thankfully most of our lawmakers listen to this platform and they take some key from there. They take some key from the discussion on a daily basis. But again, it has been a wonderful conversation. Let's start with you, my brother Don. In 2 minutes, give us a parting comment and we'll go to Zaz Pillay.
Thank you for the opportunity, Council. I think you listened to the misinformation provided by our dear brother, but there is no time. It was an impromptu discussion, and there is no length of time that we will discuss from factor to factor, from ministry to ministry, from sector to sector. So you listen to the lies, and unfortunately, the comrade in studio is one of those who have fallen victim to the action of lawlessness. You know, because if somebody, if a Liberian can be chased out of jail for speaking out something which is constitutionally guaranteed, you know, as a victim, there is a course in criminal justice called victimology. So when you do victimology, you understand how victims sound. You know, the comrade is a victim, so he will be fighting, he will be using his vocal to get reinstated. I understand all our tactics, but we can get a better time to explain about
I'm looking for a job. I'm leaving.
Okay, thank you, comrade. We want to don't use my time. Don't use my time, I beg you. We want to discuss issue of governance at the right time, and you know within yourself that the old man has failed our people. I'm disappointed. Liberians are disappointed because the rule of law is not respected. And why Jeremiah Kun was doing around forcing people to reduce the price of goods, there is something in administrative law you call usurpation. Usurpation to leave your function, to leave your function and go and be to performing somebody on a function. That's because the function, that entire stuff about reducing the prices of commodity, that's the workings of the Ministry of Commerce. So you saw Jeremiah Kun doing that. It was a usurpation. We'll talk about that another time, and we'll talk about Nimba Kante, the fulcrum of political discussion in Liberia. You know, we never had that length of time to leverage on some topics. You know, but it was a great conversation. I admire the comrade. He sounds so strong. I think he's a super as well, you know. But I want us to discuss the ills. Then Mr. Gonglo touched partially about Jeremiah Kun and everything associated with the so-called audit. You know, he was being shielded. You know, they will do things to shield justice, but the reality will set in. Kun has stolen much from our people. Kun has stolen enough from our people, and they want to hire him up. But listen, justice is the light. You cannot hide light from the darkness. Kun will come out, and we'll discuss Nimba Kante. But I pray that as the process is smoothly going, President Weah will work with somebody from Nimba. That's all I can say for now.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to play this argument into the context, into an argument called Argumenta da Populon. It's a fallacious argument, only used by people on the basis of the society being, part of the people being illiterate, so you just come up with information, and those who don't have the ability to research them, they just agree. They say, oh, they're saying that true. I don't know what basis my brother Cyrus have reduced the forum to only attacking the vice president, office of the vice president. Like I said, I challenge him. There's no condition, nowhere in Liberia, this individual, the current vice president of the Republic of Liberia, is selfless. A God-sent blessing to the people of Nimba County. We sit on this platform or go anywhere and start using armed soldiers to intimidate people to settle down price. That's a myth. That's a myth. That's cataclysmically erroneous. That is far-fetched.
Somebody with God-sent cannot betray. Somebody with God-sent cannot betray a maker. The man betray Prince Johnson, you call it the man God-sent? God-sent? Why was Prince Johnson? Why was Senator Johnson?
Sarah, you need to give the comrade a chance.
You don't question, you don't correct God on people death. You are not a soothsayer. So I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you to the people.
The senator died as a result of betrayal. Who betrayed the man?
Sarah, I beg you. We shouldn't go into that conversation. I'm really begging you.
I don't let us speak. I don't let us speak on issues that people you speak to that you don't have the authority. You don't speak to them.
If you continue on this path, Senator Johnson will not forgive you. Senator Johnson made you. You are one of the young people Senator Johnson made. Kun betray the man, and I will not want to see you praising Kun.
Let me say this. Kun is our leader, and will forever remain our leader. MDR, I want to say thanks to the people of Defton number 5, Nimba County.
Is Kun a member of MDR?
Sarah, I beg you.
Is Kun a member? I just want to know. Answer my question. I'll go off. Is Kun a member of MDR?
He's not a member of the MDR, but he remained a leader of the Republic of Liberia. And as a party that support the rescue agenda, he remain our leader in extension. He will forever remain our leader in extension.
So when did he resign from the Senate membership?
That's not a solid debate. My man, you are invited me by another time we discuss that one.
Wait, I want a conversation with you another time. I beg you, I want to have you another time.
So, to my brother Pay, I just want to say thank you very much. Thank to the Poor Electoral District number 5. We went there as campaign chairperson and strategic planner, and and we were fortunate to emerge victorious with a new representative.
Your bastard does the election. Your bastard does. We follow everything. Your bastard does the election.
With a successful candidate, come a veteran at Koto Krago. So I want to say thanks to the Nimbayans for helping the MDR producing a senator, Senator Samuel Koga, and that of Koto Krago. And we'll be back in Nimba in a very short time because we have mooned our father for a year now. And as the year elapses, we'll be recalibrating, coming back to talk to the people of Nimba to ensure that our agenda in supporting the rescue mission remain focused, and there should be nothing else in Nimba that will serve as a distraction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother Cyrus. Thank you, Zaz Pele. Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate the two of you, and we're going to plan a very, very intellectual conversation with the two of you, maybe in the coming weeks. Thank you guys.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so, folks, it has been a wonderful conversation with all of you tonight. My name is Junior Payne, your regular host of the show. We'd like to say many thanks to the management of Voice of Tapeta in Tapeta City for relaying the show tonight. Many thanks to our guys at BKS Radio in Butuo Town, Nima County, for also relaying the show. Catch it up tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll be hosting former representative of Electoral District 2, Nima County, on our Prince O.S. Tupa. Prince OTC Tupa will be our guest here tomorrow on the show, and we'll be discussing Nima politics. It has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation with you guys tonight. And of course, I like to say, live the life you love the life you live. Have a pleasant good morning, good afternoon, and good night.